if you don't have a packed neck, because you won't have the urge to move your eyes like that. Baby moves and develops movement patterns because it has to. The baby feels wrong, and then they fix it. It's just what RNT is, and what we've learned through the FMS. You use a band or a reaction to create something that doesn't feel right, because wrong doesn't register as wrong to you. Mm-hmm. When there's a lot of common sense through breathing and through that stable spine. The reference, because obviously we've got to have references, right? Anyway, yeah. The spinal engine by, I always say his name wrong, Grachasevsky, is the reference, and it's where we came up with the part of how I developed what I call the core pendulum theory. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not this novel thing. It's not that I made it up. There was the Z Health work, which is based on the spinal engine, is where this packed neck theory developed out of, as far as my exposures. The other thing, though, to consider in the packed neck, in a stability training exercise, a stability move, if you will, there's two muscles in the body, and this is supported by DNS. It's supported by DNS. It's supported by Yanda. It's supported by any kind of exercise system that believes in some kind of mobility drills and some kind of stability drills or activation drills. There's muscles that are known as tonic or phasic, and the deep neck flexors are indeed tonic. When the phasic muscles are overreactive, meaning you would not pack your neck and let your chin stick out, and let it fall and rotate around the sagittal plane into flexion and extension, you will use scalenes and you will use sternocleidomastoid. When the brain identifies that there is an overuse of phasic muscles, the autonomic nervous system throws you sympathetic. Mm-hmm. Muscles become tight and grody, and manual therapy could be part of the answer to fix that. Mm-hmm. Your recovery is off. There's a whole cascade of events that limit your performance and health in terms of the autonomic nervous system when phasic muscles are asked to be tonic. Mm-hmm. Because you still need to stabilize your neck. You can't let it fly around like a bumblebee. So if you don't keep your neck neutral, you no longer have a line of pull for your deep neck flexors to act in the way that they're acting. So they go offline. Yeah. And then the phasic muscles pick up the slack. Just like if your core muscles in your lumbar spine go offline, your hip flexors pick up the slack. Yeah. Just like if your scapular stabilizers, tonic muscles go offline, they become inhibited, they don't like to work very much, the lines of pull are changed, joint centration is off, and I'll get to that in a moment. Your pec minor will activate, your upper trap will activate. Mm-hmm. It becomes all of these dysfunctional movement patterns. Yeah. So the body perceives this as a threat, and that cervical extension is a weight shift, and it's a weight shift that is attenuated through the lumbar spine. Now you've got two regions that are causing bony approximation. That's spinal compression. Bones are getting close to each other. I'm not saying bone on bone, but they're getting close to each other. Mm. And when any kind of movement, which is healthy, keep in mind, you should be able to extend your neck. You should be able to have your neck on a swivel, and it should just drop and be able to move in wild movement. Absolutely. This maintains joint capsules and muscles, Ruffini nerve endings, Merkel cells, proscenium corpuscles. All these mechanoreceptors are then talking to the brain and saying, hey, the deep neck flexors are offline. Well, what's going on down there? Well, we're in neck extension, and our bones are kind of closer together, so we can get stability from bones approximating. It's what happens in flat feet. When bones approximate, you can get stability. You can be very, very strong and powerful, but you're giving away reflexive stability. Your phasic core muscles, rectus abdominis, obliques, sternocleidomastoid, etc., they have to revert their roles into a stability function. into a tonic function, and you're leaving juice in the plug. You're also potentially degenerating these bony surfaces as they approximate. When you hear, like, I have a decreased joint space, this is what you're voluntarily doing by not packing the neck. This is, again, I don't keep a stack of research papers, and I also look at research in terms of trends. I haven't said anything that should be, anybody could say is factually incorrect. It's all, this whole picture doesn't live in one research study. Yeah. I don't think we need to use research studies to tell us what we should do. I think we should use research to tell us what we shouldn't do, which is decrease joint spaces and shift tonic muscles or shift phasic muscles to tonic function. So the packing the neck keeps a good, healthy proprioception from the mechanoreceptors, keeps deep neck flexors activated. Basically, if you don't pack the neck, you're telling me you don't care about deep neck flexors activation. Yeah, I think they're important. If you don't, then that's cool. But that deep neck flexor then extends the spine into a centrated position. That's the last thing I'll say. Collage talks about joint centration, which is a joint position in which it has the ability for maximal load absorption. It's different for every joint. Yeah. Sarman calls it path of instantaneous center of rotation. So again, it's not just this mythical developmental kinesiology that is sometimes very difficult to latch onto. Sarman has the same principle. When we find that it's everywhere. Like when we find, we say we're going to keep our elbows at 45 degrees because that's the centrated position of the shoulder. We all know things, we just know them as different names, and we argue about shit that's like non-negotiable. Yeah. So the centrated position is the slight lordosis in the cervical spine. The thing that DNS is really about is that centration begets centration everywhere else, and decentration begets decentration everywhere else. Yeah. So if one joint is out, your whole body is out. When we did a little bit of work after you hurt your shoulder, I insisted to you that obviously your shoulder hurts, but I think you understood that when I was saying you don't have a shoulder problem, you have shoulder pain, but you have a body problem.
And you're absolutely correct about that.
The primary trauma that I was not able to diagnose for, we just didn't really look deep enough, was apparently, as you told me, it was in your back.
It was in my T6, correct.
You lost centration somewhere else because of a lack of stability, and then you hurt somewhere else. Exactly. So to give away centration is a major mistake. Exactly. And I don't have enough of a body of work to suggest that different movements don't apply to centration. Now, I know end-stage athletic activity does not apply. That would be ideal, but it can't happen. Powerlifting, it can happen. It cannot happen in field sports. We must move around. That's not what I'm saying. All bets are off there. But if we train with maximal tension, which joint centration is a requirement to attain, you will maintain a level of recovery through the autonomic nervous system shifting to neutral or parasympathetic. And this is just based on what tonic and phasic muscles do. The shit's all the same. It all comes back to the same things, like whether you're a fascia guy or you're a joint-by-joint guy, or whether you're Joel Jameson talking about, this stuff is all the same. It's just a different window into the autonomic nervous system. Your brain is a giant emergency brake, and there are many ways that we can turn on that emergency brake. But golly, if you only have it on a little bit, you can probably still drive very fast. Yeah. My interest is to create this indescribable cyborg in which there is no emergency brake, and I think the pack neck is a part of that. Absolutely. I think my frustration is, okay, you get all that stuff, whatever else I wrote about in different mediums. Okay, tell me how what I just said was wrong, and to say, well, I don't see it that way in my practice is one reason. But what else do you got? Because I'm telling you in my practice, at 185 pounds, I can do 5 reps with 545 pounds on my back, and when I'm done,